Coming up on this edition of ATV News.
I really trusted Utah State to take care of me, and they didn't.
We met with the student who's suing USU. We'll show you why she says they made her feel dehumanized.
It's already, I think, up $300 a month for the apartment if we re-sign today.
We'll tell you what students are going to do about their rent going up.
On opening day, it was very busy.
We'll show you why a busy opening day for Dutch Bros might mess up your drive to work.
Green on the left, white on the right, and blue up above. I'll tell you when those colors will change in weather.
Hey Big Blue, I know the last couple games have been a little bit rough, but would you still like to see some Spectrum magic? I'll have it for you in sports.
All that and more, this is ATV News.
Walking around campus and having to see the person who raped me was traumatizing, honestly. Like, it was horrible.
We sat down with this Utah State student who was speaking out after a year-long legal battle with the school, claiming they neglected her sexual assault reports. Welcome to ATV News. I'm Kayla Peterson.
And I'm Annika Johns. USU released its sexual misconduct survey results and say they learned students like how the university has handled past reports, but one student says she's still not happy. Sarah Murphy met with her and joins us live to tell us what she had to say.
That's right, Annika. On December 14th, just a little over a month ago, USU student Katrie Flint and her lawyers filed a lawsuit against Utah State University after Flint says she was raped by a USU football player and says the school did nothing. Now, in the lawsuit, Flint claims that USU is failing at upholding Title IX regulations, is giving preferential treatment to male athletes accused of sexual misconduct, and is depriving its victims, like Flint, of their basic rights and protections. Now, I sat down and I talked one-on-one with Katrie Flint, and she told me that the school has made her feel ignored and unimportant, and she says that needs to change.
When I would walk into an office and ask, like, hey, can I talk to someone? And they say, no, but here's a fruit snack. Like, I just felt so dehumanized. I felt like nothing that I had gone through was important to anyone. I remember being in the Title IX office more than I was in class, more than I was hanging out with my friends. So it was like, I really did overextend myself, and I have nothing to, like, show for this. Like, they don't care. They just kind of, like, want to keep letting this person play football, is how it felt.
If you could say anything to them, what would you say?
Do better. Just do better.
Next week, this is an ongoing story, and next week we'll not only have more from Flint, but also the school side of things. Reporting live, Sarah Murphy, ATV News.
Thanks, Sarah.
Do you know where you will live next year? Jake Ellis shows us how the hunt for housing is already on for some Utah State students.
Preston Waddups is finishing laundry in his apartment. He has lived at Foothill Lofts for the past year while attending Utah State University, but he says he will move this summer because management is raising rent.
It's already, I think, up $300 a month for the apartment if we re-sign today.
Year-to-year rent increases are normal, but NV Property Management says increases are usually between 2 and 5%. However, some off-campus apartments like Waddups's are asking for 16% or more. And while finding a new place to live is not the end of the world,
Preston says he'll miss amenities like this gym and lifting weights in them, but everything comes with a cost.
And even if you are able to pay for a nicer place, you are not always guaranteed a spot.
I had to scramble last minute when I realized that 800 block wasn't going to get finished to get new housing somewhere else.
Students say it gets worse.
Lots of times the price they have advertised is a lot higher when you go on to the actual, like the apartment complex's website.
But Lee moved back on campus after living off. She says on-campus housing is typically the best option.
I think USU housing is really great. I think it's one of the best values you can get. I definitely agree that being on campus and around, your classes and everything, and being close to the campus community is really important.
For Waddups, the biggest challenge is figuring out who he will room with.
I think the more stressful part isn't just like finding a place to stay, but working out, living with the friends that you want to.
Jake Ellis, ATV News.
If you want to live on campus this fall, applications are open now.
Now for an update on COVID cases in Utah. We couldn't report on our normal case changes, so let's take a look at COVID case rates in the vaccinated and unvaccinated populations in the past month. There have been over 100,000 total unvaccinated cases, with almost 94,000 vaccinated cases. More than 1,500 unvaccinated people have been hospitalized, and almost 1,000 hospitalizations have been vaccinated people. With the unvaccinated, there have been over 150 deaths, and 66 vaccinated people have died.
In other news, a new Dutch Bros had its opening day here in Logan last Friday. JC Caldwell reports on why this means you may see a busier Main Street.
This is a sound you'll likely be hearing a lot more if you're driving on Main Street. On opening day of the Oregon-based business from open to close, cars lined up with a police officer directing traffic.
It was very busy, constantly out to the road, past, I believe, Formosa restaurant Chinese food.
Employees say although they haven't been as busy since, they still see high volumes of customers.
We found on Sundays, we are one of the only businesses open on Sundays, so even till like 10:20 at night, when we are closed at 10, there were still lines of cars.
This cotton candy shake is just one of the dozens of drinks available here at Dutch Bros for thirsty customers. But when it comes to traffic concerns, is it really worth the wait?
Customers say although some Logan residents have expressed concerns for the issue, it shouldn't be a problem in the future.
I think opening for any business is crazy, but I think long term it's not going to be an issue.
Employees also say that they've planned and prepared for lots of customers.
I feel like we were able to distance ourselves enough from Chick-fil-A, which is always busy, and also in between In-N-Out, which is about to be really busy. So I feel like we've kind of gotten our own quadrants, and like you said, the little branch off from the road will help.
JC Caldwell, ATV News.
The new In-N-Out being built at 404 Main Street, which also raises concerns, has not yet announced an opening day.
For one Logan couple, joking around is taken pretty seriously. I went and met with the owners of Shivers and found out how their joke turned into a new business.
Over a month ago, this counter full of toppings was owned by somebody else.
It was kind of a joke for a minute that we were going to buy, and then it became very serious and very real very fast.
But when the previous owners decided to sell, Mackenzie Jess and her husband Logan realized it was an opportunity they couldn't pass up.
She sprung the idea on me, and I think she was just kind of expecting me to say no right up front. But on this one, I just was like, yeah, if we can make it work, let's do it.
Shivers officially opened on January 10th, 3 weeks after Mackenzie and Logan bought the store. Guests can choose not only frozen yogurt, but ice cream and Italian ice as well.
Something that I became very passionate about is I want every flavor to mix, and I want your cup, the entire cup to taste well, rather than all these different flavors that you wanted to try get mixed together, or they just don't taste good at that point.
Something Shivers takes pride in is their variety of flavors. But in case you don't want your ice cream or yogurt mixing, they offer these dividers that just place into the cup and separate it into 3 different sections. That way, you can have 3 different flavors without any of them touching.
We just know that every flavor doesn't go together, but we want you to enjoy your full cup, but still get the experience of different flavors.
And despite the colder weather outside, the owners say,
there's never a bad time for ice cream or frozen yogurt.
Shivers say they plan on adding gelato to their menu at the beginning of February.
You will now be able to dance with the princesses at the annual Family Plays Princess Party inside Castle Manor this year. Last year, the princesses had to stand out in the cold while families drove through the Castle Manor parking lot. The Princess Party is kicking off the celebration of 40 years.
All of our participants from years past are so excited to be able to meet inside Castle Manor again, to be able to see the characters up close.
The Family Plays Princess Party is February 26th. You can find a link to their website and buy tickets on our Facebook page. And coming up, Aggie Ice Cream celebrated their birthday over the
NFC,
weekend. We'll tell you how old they
offensive
turned.
lineman,
Every year we say we're not, and every year we do it again.
We'll tell you why these people keep coming back to jump into freezing cold water.
Coming up in weather, Jake Ellis will have the 7-day forecast. The current temperature is 29 degrees.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else? Or will you dare do something different? Like be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget. That'd be cool. Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
ATV News, it's time for weather. Let's go ahead and look at some of these highlights of the storm that happened on Saturday. These were shot on Sunday morning. Look at that beautiful sunrise over the mountain peaks. Let's jump into our national radar. As you can see, in the middle of the country, Texas is dealing with some precipitation right now, and Florida dealing with the tail end of a storm as well before it heads off into the Atlantic Ocean. A little bit something up near Pennsylvania area, but nothing too major. Let's check on the West Coast. Up in the Pacific Northwest, nothing brewing, and down in California, nothing much either. Let's check our state. Here in Utah, we don't see anything at all right now. Maybe a few small storms down here, but nothing major, no snow in the immediate future. Let's go ahead and check the 7-day forecast and see how long this weather will last. On Wednesday, the high was 29. It's already started to decrease, and it's going to get down to 10 degrees tonight, so make sure you have plenty of blankets to stay warm tonight. It's going to stay pretty much that same temperature tomorrow, 30 degrees high, and Friday will get a little bit warmer, but you're still going to have to bring coats and blankets at night. Into the weekend, we're seeing some haze build up. On Saturday, there's going to be widespread haze, so if you can, stay indoors and avoid outdoor activity. And on Sunday, we also have the same effect, some haze showing up, so just be careful about that. On Monday, there's a slight chance for some snow showers to hopefully clean up the air, but we'll have to see what happens there. It's about a 30% chance. On Tuesday, that drops down to about 20%. But now you're all caught up on weather. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Jake. Aggie Ice Cream is celebrating their 100th birthday this year. I went to their birthday party and joined in on the celebration.
Hello. Hi. What'd you have today?
From the middle to the old to the youngest, Aggie Ice Cream is older than them all.
Aggie Ice Cream is celebrating 100 years by highlighting a flavor of ice cream each month. This month is birthday cake. It tastes like birthday cake.
Sometimes those will be new flavors, sometimes they'll be kind of kickback flavors that we're bringing back, or just popular flavors that we have on our menu all the time.
We come here all the time, and we're so excited to be able to help celebrate the 100-year anniversary Aggie Ice Cream is celebrating.
A ice cream lover describes the treat as
it's comfort food, brings back a lot of good memories, and now we're 2 generations into it, maybe going to get a 3rd here coming up.
a tradition that is best served during
springtime on the quad. How can you beat that?
I mean, Aggie ice cream in the summer is the best, of course, like when it's hot outside and just to be able to come and enjoy some cold Aggie ice cream.
Best time to have Aggie ice cream is any time, in my opinion. I mean, it's cold and we're still here having Aggie ice cream. It's the best.
Aggie Ice Cream says the celebration will continue throughout the year. They will be giving out a grand prize of a year's supply of Aggie ice cream this month. You can win that by buying ice cream and filling out a raffle ticket.
What would it take for you to jump into freezing cold water?
2, 1.
For the 12th annual Bear Lake Monster Plunge, hundreds of people watched as jumpers dressed in costumes, paid the $35 fee, and jumped into the 33-degree Bear Lake. These people say they do it for the thrill.
It's fun, why not? Adventure!
Proceeds from the event go to the Family Place, Utah.
You may look to art to feel inspired and motivated. Nathaniel Gillis shows you one professor is using it to help dogs get adopted.
Stitch is up for adoption at the Cache Humane Society. Utah State Honor students stepped in to help the dogs get adopted through art.
That's Stitch, and he is a great boy.
Organizers say they were excited for the Humane Society and their animals to get some new attention.
I just think a lot of people don't know we're here, so any teaming up with like the university would give us so much more like knowledge for people that we're here.
Cache Humane directors allowed students to interact with the dogs, such as walking them or playing with them. And after they were done here, students came here to the Fine Arts Building, where their assignment was to express the dog's personality artistically, such as these.
Photo prints, paintings, and 3D art are some of the ways that students express the dog's personalities. Professor Gelfand says the goal of the assignment was to change the way we look at dogs.
It was about thinking about how we represent dogs and what that representation means, and then how would you go about representing dogs in a way that would help them get adopted.
Gelfand says she was happy to hear a majority of the dogs represented in the class were adopted, and hopes that the class's future effort will help puppies like this one find their forever home. Nathaniel Gillis, ATV News.
Professor Gelfand will be holding this class next semester and hopes to involve the Cache Humane again. And coming up.
They have a power. Images have power.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, this exhibit has a lot to say. We'll show you how these walls are talking.
And coming up in sports, we'll show which Aggie got showered with MVP chants and what he did to get them.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt. And to follow the swimming rules.
You're always looking out for me and trying to keep me safe.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
Here in the garage.
Closet. Shoebox. Under the bed.
Where anyone can get to it.
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. If you own a firearm and are not using it, please be responsible and be sure that it's stored in a safe place. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org.
Students in biological engineering at Utah State University have the unique chance through the Synthetic Biomanufacturing Institute to engineer uses for spider silk. Projects developed in the lab include medical coatings, strong adhesives, and elastic woven fibers. These Aggies from Utah State are influencing and changing the face of biological engineering. Join them and leave your mark as well.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
The crowd was hyped at the Eccles Ice Center on Saturday, but who wouldn't be after goals like this against rivals, BYU. Welcome to ATV Sports, I'm Emma Fates. The Aggies, they came out smiling here, but the game, it got ugly so fast. The slips and all of the hits, they just kept on coming. and each one was just worse than the last. BYU, well, they got on the board first with this goal that slipped by Anderson. Things, they got a little feisty after this, but USU quickly tried to turn that anger to the ice. With just a few more hits like this one and a few more close calls like this one, all of the players seemed to have a powwow at the BYU net. It looks like it's hard to tell who scored the goal, but it was definitely an Aggie, and it tied up the game 1-1. And it was all Aggie from there. USU scored again on the Cougars, this one more clearly coming from number 55, Bradley Green. BYU tried and failed to get some more points on the board, never again getting past the MVP Anderson wall. The Cougars, well, they desperately tried to pull some cheap shots on the Aggies, but that only seemed to fuel us even more. With the Cougars left a little defenseless, the final score came to 1-3. Men's basketball took on Boise State on Thursday in the Spectrum. The Scotsmen blared, and the student section, well, they were talking some trash as they showed up to feel some Aggie Spectrum magic. Now for the Aggies' first trick of the night, Stephen Ashworth was Wingardium Leviosa right into that hoop for a diving layup. But it wasn't long before Justin Bean got some layup action of his own. Bean scored 14 points this game, including this three-point shot. Horvath sinks this next baseline three before we come to our second magic trick. The Aggies, well, they made the ball disappear from Boise State. RJ Adelrock drives down the court, passes to Berso, and sinks the alley-oop. Adelrock kept his momentum going with this layup right here, and then again with this two-point shot, and then one more time with this pump fake. All Adelrock quickly turned into all Horvath with this major shot block, followed by another Horvath bucket. Now the Aggies, they started out a little stagnant in the second half, but who better to get things rolling than Bean with this three-point shot and another jumper coming up right here. Bean also comes up with our third magic trick with some faith, trust, and a little bit of pixie dust. Bean leaps for the two and draws the foul. Bean, well, he kind of runs out of some magic beans here with Trayvon Dorius helping him out, and then again with Brandon Horvath. Now, all those magic tricks unfortunately weren't quite enough as Boise State pulled out the win 62-59. The Aggies take on San Diego State tonight at the Spectrum. Maybe we'll get to see a few more of those magic tricks. Women's basketball, they had a busy week taking on both Colorado State and defending Mountain West champions Wyoming. Junior Adriana Quezada led the Aggies against the Rams with a season high of 30 points, just like this one, and this one, and this diving shot. And you know, I'm glad someone was counting because, well, I've even lost count by now. Now, senior guard Emmy Harris had a career high of her own with 12 assists this game, but the Aggies couldn't quite pull it off, losing to the Rams 88-72. But it was a new day for women's basketball on Saturday when they took on the Wyoming Cowgirls at home. Now, Wyoming's gold might have matched the Spectrum seats, but the Aggies' drive was unmatched. After this block by Quezada right here, and Elise Stafford hitting back to, yes, you guessed it, back to three shots. She stretched the Aggie lead 12-7, and the threes, they kept on coming, like this one from Rendawa, and some of the Cowgirls as well. But don't worry, we come back to USU hitting more threes like this one from Stafford, and this handoff three from Quezada to Laytone, and finally another one from guard Kaylin Rendawa, who led the Aggies with 20 points. Despite a couple picks from Wyoming, the Aggies sealed the deal, winning 76-66. Men's and women's indoor track and field competed at the Nebraska Invitational last weekend. The Aggies came away with 26 top 5 finishes, and with a time of 4:12.77, sophomore Brennan Benson won the men's mile. Men's tennis started out their spring season last weekend by demolishing Idaho State 6-1 at home. Aggie gymnastics was on fire at a quad meet in Arizona. The team took second behind Oklahoma State, but their overall score of 96.35 is tied for 10th best in school history. USU recorded a 49.5 on beam, the second best score ever in the program. Freshman Bree Clark gave another great floor routine performance at the quad meet, but who could forget Clark's near perfect 9.95 score on floor at the Aggies' home meet against Air Force. I got to talk to Clark about that personal best and what's next for her.
I visualize a lot outside of practice. That helps me with my floor routines. So once I visualize what I want to do, then it helps it actually happen.
Got some huge skills, especially this first one here. What are kind of your biggest strengths?
Just smiling. That's just easy for me to do, and it's fun. And also tumbling is fun to me too.
And one of the judges even flashed you a perfect 10.
Yeah, when I saw the 10, I was really excited because it's so close. So it gives me more motivation to keep pushing and pushing and try to get that 10.
Is that your ultimate goal, to just get a perfect 10?
Yeah.
Now the next shot Bree will have to hit that perfect 10 is on Friday at BYU. Now you're all caught up on your Aggie sports. Back to you at the desk, Kayla.
Thanks, Emma. Art lovers say looking at artwork can transport them somewhere else. But what if you could actually step inside a painting? Yvonne Bass takes us to a new kind of canvas.
Mirrors and empty frames are what greet you when you come to the Beyond Van Gogh exhibit in Salt Lake.
I definitely came to experience it because I thought it's the coolest thing. It's not just a picture, it's projected all around the room.
The creators say their main goal is
connecting people to the art world in a different way.
Even though Van Gogh died over 130 years ago, art lovers say his art still lives.
Since I'm not very creative on my own, I like to see what other people have done.
The creators of Beyond Van Gogh use projectors to show Van Gogh's work on the walls and the floor using their modern tools. Kurtat says past art
can inspire somebody who's not dealing with painting, but who's dealing with pixels.
I'm here in the immersion room where digital programming and painting come together to create something new. Van Gogh used art to express himself, and in this room, you can begin to understand his emotions.
He's so widely known for the darkness in his life. It sort of takes away from what you see in his work, which is the opposite of darkness. It's pure light, it's pure color, it's movement, it's expression.
Kurtat says what you get from an art piece can be completely different than someone else.
It just brings me a lot of peace.
Yvonne Bass, ATV News.
Beyond Van Gogh will stay in Utah until March 27th. You can find more info about the exhibit on our Facebook page.
Logan Canyon has a new winter resident. The 20-foot-tall snowman resides up Logan Canyon at mile marker 482, just past Tony Grove. They started building him in 2010, and the builders say it takes about 50 hours to build him. People say he makes them smile every time they visit. So what do you think, Kayla? Could you build something like that?
I don't know, maybe with a big group of people, a ladder, and lots of snow. I think we could do it.
Well, we do have that possible chance of snow on Monday.
That's true, we could go Monday.
Maybe build a couple more life-size figures.
I think I could do a life-size. That 20-foot seems a little tall.
Just, give them a couple of friends.
We could do that. Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
You can find this edition and previous editions on our Facebook page.
We will leave you with more shots of the Van Gogh exhibit.
Have a great week. Have a great week, Cache Valley.